Good afternoon, everyone. You have to save your applause for later. My name is Dano. I'm a film critic from the Netherlands, and I'm basically here to say welcome to you all and tie this part of the afternoon to the second part of the afternoon, which will be the award ceremony for the Robbie Mueller Award. But first, we're going to listen to cinematographer Diego García, who is talking to cinematographer Joris Boelstra, also a board member of the Netherlands Society of Cinematographers, and they're going to engage in a masterclass about everything cinematography. So please welcome Joris and Diego to the stage. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Diego.
Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody.
So when we first had a Skype call about this, and I asked Diego, what would be your perfect masterclass? He told me he would like to engage with the audience about everything that has to do with cinematography. So this said, I would like to welcome you all to ask questions, and don't be shy. And because we're going to know Diego in the next 2 hours, I thought it would be nice to get to know you a little bit before we start. So, who is a film student here? Film students? Great. Cinematographers? Aha, nice. Directors? Great, great, great. Film lovers? Thank you, all of you. Great, great. And who wants to say something about a film that Diego shot? Just to start this masterclass. Who saw a film of Diego and wants to say something about it? Come on, don't be shy. Very shy. They're still shy, Diego.
Yes.
So, my favorite film is Our Time. And I don't know if anybody saw that film. It's beautiful. And what I really like about your style is that it has this fluency, this long takes. It gives the actors space to act. It gives us, as viewers, the space to see. And it just has this rhythm and, relaxed quality to it, which I really admire about your work. And I think I see that in most of your films. So that as a start, but please don't be shy, because otherwise we're going to be talking all the time. So Diego, you went to the Mexican film school. And do you have any, let's say, what did you take from the film school that is still influencing your work now?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure being here and sharing filmmaking with you all. And you mentioned something about having a style. I wouldn't say that I have a style. I think I work more with directors that are trying and searching for a certain film language. And I try to get to know them first as a person and how they look life and everything, nature, and then I try to translate that afterwards in images and time and pace and light, composition, everything. No? So I don't know if I have a style, like something that it repeats over and over, but I just try to do something different and that fits into the storytelling and following into the characters and, I think.
Okay, great. I think I do feel you have certain things that repeat itself in films, but maybe through seeing some of the clips we brought from Diego's work, we can all discover a little bit of Diego in every film. I think we also talked a lot about directors and different directors you worked with, but also from script to scene to imagery. would you say that what is the most important thing for you? Is it like reading the script that is taking you towards making that film or choosing that film, or directors, or a combination?
I think both, but mostly directors. I mean, if there's a director that I really like and that I feel connected with his vision, then I don't even need to read the script. I will be excited about it right away. You know? So, and when I read a script, I mean, I always take very long. I'm not a very good reader. When it flows and when it's easy for me, then I found myself like inside and connected with what is going on, what is happening inside the story, you know, and the images and the whole thing. And if I stop and I get distracted and walk around, then I still feel like, no, maybe this is not something that I wanted to do. No.
And can you give an example about maybe a film we brought a clip from, and how you got to this this image flow or this style of the film?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a coincidence or what, but many directors that I work with, they like long shots. And so I guess I've been exploring that language, like in different ways. No, sometimes a long dolly track or just like a fixed frame, and composing all the mise en scène. No, like how the actors behave in front of the camera, or how the camera dances with the actors. No, like many infinitive ways. So yes, we can maybe watch something. And
maybe I have another question about that, because what would you say that it's hard if you make, like say, a big shot, a wide shot, and you have actors moving in it, and you have a certain movement in it. How do you decide, or how do you do that with the director? How do you pre-visualize that moment in time? Let's say you have an hour and a half of the film, you talk about that certain scene. There is, of course, a certain rhythm, certain speed in which you tell the story. How do you pre-visualize that?
Well, I think time and the pace is something that we discussed previously. And when we're on set, we already know what are we talking in terms of time, and yes, sometimes we rehearse. Sometimes it's tricky because some directors likes to combine certain reality and naturalism with something much more composed. And that can be very challenging because you don't want to lose real life and something vivid and strong. But at the same time, how can you make it happen, no? With the camera movement or with the right light, the right moment of the day, no? So I like to prep, but not too much. I think
is there something? Is there, like, I think as a cinematographer we mostly talk about light, camera movement, lens choice, but we are also very much involved in actors placement, actors movement, and there is also this tendency that as directors we just say let's just do some acting there, and you guys frame up some shots. Mm-hmm. How do you talk to actors, or how do you talk to directors about actors' placement and movement?
Yeah, I like to get involved with actors' movements and the whole scene. I think it's a big part of our work as cinematographers. Not only thinking on light or that they need to be standing in the right position. I like to give them and allow them to be free in a space and to just do their thing, no? Instead of giving them rules and make it everything more stiff and staged. So yes, I like to be involved and talk with the directors about that. And what else?
More about, you say, most of Diego's work for me, and it's my opinion, is very stylized, as you said, but still very, that you don't really notice camera movement, that you don't really notice, but it has this intention of telling you something. So I was wondering, when you do prep and you think of these shots, and you're like, wow, it would be great if they would move around like this, or come closer and then walk away again, or I could do this panning and panning back, which would mean something for the story. But the actors want to do something else. If you would change actors' movement, or how do you engage them?
I think the key is having a motivation for everything you do. If you pan or if you push in the camera, it should mean something, and you're doing it because you're trying to say something in particular, no? Maybe an emotion. Sometimes just like an atmospheric moment, you know, that takes you into something else. So I think that's the key, following the characters, like state of how they are inside. And for me, that's like the engine to follow, no? And that's how I bring up some ideas for everything, I guess, no? And I think it should flow when you're on set in the moment, and you feel that it's correct. Then you keep going, and then you keep exploring many things. And when it doesn't, then you stop and try to follow another path.
Right. Because it's also so that if you have these wide shots, you can't cut away. So everything captured in that moment is in the edit not going to change easily. Is there? You do safety shots?
No. I prefer not to. There's some people that they don't feel like very safety to not to have them. But I think with the directors that I normally work, they are brave and they take risks, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, sounds great. I wanted to show a clip so we see a little bit of Diego's work, and we can also maybe remember everything we talked about here, and maybe get back with you with some questions. I was thinking about Nuestro Tiempo because it's my favorite, and I will tell a little bit about the story for whom didn't see it. If I say it right, it's about this relationship between two people, where the husband is trying to figure out how to get artistically enriched again, because they are in this stable relationship, and they are experimenting with their relationship, and actually that takes their life into another direction. Is that the right description?
Yes, it's a triangle love. I mean, there's a couple and the lover. And I think it's like a family portrait, and it talks about life in the countryside, relationship in family and nature and love, and it's mostly about that.
I think you see that the hard thing about to show Diego's work is that it's you have to show the length of it, but you also actually have to see what's before and what's after. Maybe that's filmmaking, but in showing long takes, that makes it a lot. It gets you more, I think, and that's we chose a lot of long clips to show you. So get ready for that. Why did you choose this clip?
I thought that it was interesting as a simple and short scene, It's made out of 3 shots. It's almost at the beginning of the film, and it's establishing, or you're getting to know the 2 characters that are, later on are gonna have a bigger conflict. The film is more about the inner conflict of Juan, the main character. It's not about the conflict of them, but it's important. No?
It's actually Juan is the guy on the left.
Yeah.
Phil is the love triangle, and his wife is in the car.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So there you have the triangle in this scene, the 3 of them together. Yes, and then you get to feel the place in a more simple, and you feel the time. No?
And why stage it in such a hard time to shoot? Because this is like 3 shots, but with a lot of length to them. How do you prepare for a scene like this?
We shot it in 2 or 3 sunsets.
Okay, great.
That look most like kind of alike.
And so they were not behind each, like in the shooting days were not in a row.
No.
So just planning on the same lighting conditions.
This single shot take us like 1 afternoon.
Great, good to know. So this whole film is shot also on anamorphic lenses.
Yeah.
You want to say something about that choice and how we can see that in this imagery?
Those are like vintage Russian Lamos, and I think Carlos uses them on a previous film on Silent Light, and he wanted to keep exploring with them, and he was feeling comfortable about the look and the distortions, and he really liked the aspect ratio, the format. Mm-hmm.
Great.
For landscaping, and most of the film is set up in the countryside, so there's a lot of landscaping. Mm-hmm.
So how did this room in your schedule? Was it already planned like this? Like you knew this was going? No, the whole shooting this whole scene like in 3 nights
yes.
is already planned. And is that possible because you had a lot of budget, or because you were a small team?
It was possible because we hadn't have a big budget. When you are only 10 people in the crew, then you allowed to be free, and that's something that Carlos really cares about.
Oh, great.
When you work with a 100 people crew or something, then you don't have time for anything.
Great. Okay, are there any questions? Well, there is a mic, so can we please have the mic going to Ruud? And then...
Here is the question.
Oh, there's another question. Ruud, I'm gonna... the mic is already there. Maybe you can stand up and ask a question, please.
Yeah, hello, hi, yeah.
Can you stand up?
For this sequence, was there at any time, you said, 3 shots? Was there at any time a discussion about a 4th shot on the woman who was sitting inside the car?
No, I don't remember that it was just that quick moment, just her waiting to leave. Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
You already informed us about the anamorphic lenses you use, but I'm very interested in what camera you use behind it.
It was an Alexa Mini.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And would you like to shoot this on film, digital? Was there any discussion?
I wish to be shot on film, but again, sometimes you struggle with budget, and this was the first film for Carlos shooting in digital, and he wanted to try. I don't know how he feels about it.
Is it maybe it helped maybe also to shoot this with a higher ISO with more information in blacks than on film? What would change if you would shoot this on film?
I mean, there's always pros and cons, but I think a film like this, it should be shot on film.
And why?
It's just like a much more straightforward process and more pure, and you are with the actors, sound, camera, and available light. So that's like the workflow, no? I mean, it worked both ways.
Can you explain a little bit more about the workflow that you like the most?
You mean digital
With
or
crew?
film?
Yeah, maybe that as a starting point, but maybe also like how you like to work like in a crew.
I like to change and to adapt each film in a different way. No, for example, in this case, the whole camera crew, we were 2 guys, just Adrian, that was the focus puller, the camera assistant, the DIT, the everything, and myself also doing everything.
Lighting.
Yes.
Great. Maybe this is a good like bridge to you working with different directors in different countries. Like you worked with a Thai director on Cemetery of Splendour.
Yes.
How did that happen? How did you get to know him?
Well, it's funny because I met Joey for the first time through Carlos, because he was looking for a DP, and Carlos, very smart, he threw my name and he told him, well, I'm thinking on working with him. If it works with you, maybe I will consider him.
Great. Okay. And then on, because you also work in Hollywood now, which is a total different system maybe than, let's say, the European system. I don't know how it works with
Thai system? The Thai system?
The Thai system, maybe. This is a series to All to Die Young. How is it to work with a director so known for his visual style? Like this is Nicolas winding Refn, Drive, and Only God Forgives. This fits your style, actually. But how is this still? How is this? How do you adapt to a director with such a known style?
I don't know. It seems that we just connected very well, like in taste, and maybe I found it a way to translate his universe, and I choose this scene, this little piece, to show how he cares the most about the whole experience, getting to some kind of hypnotic trance. And he does it with music, with the mise-en-scène as well. Very classical camera movement.
But very like super like straight and super tight. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wobbly about it.
No, if you look at it carefully, it's very simple. He shots in a very simple way. He doesn't complicate himself doing like fancy stuff. It's very straightforward, I think.
How did you prepare for him with him for this series?
We did scout locations. There was script, but we didn't prepare that much. We show up on the day, and we rehearse with actors, and then we improvise.
What is the minimum you need to know about the story or the scene so that you can work?
I think for him, it's more about to get the right mood and the right atmosphere. No, he cares about that, and me too. No, more than being much more narrative or figurative. No, he likes abstract images. He likes trying to get something mysterious, and that it's not like right away in front of you. No, he likes to work with symbolism and layers in underneath the images. So I really like to work in this way, just finding it on the moment, and I think we did a good match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this series is shot by you and by Darius Konji.
Yes.
Who is another hero of mine. We knows Darius Konji. He's great as well. Great. How did you talk about that together? Like, did you have many conversations with Darius about how this would?
No. Well, he shot 5 episodes, and I shot 5 episodes. It was half and half. And no, we didn't discuss much about the look or how it should be shot at all. He was like very open, and he told me that I must do whatever I feel correct for the show, and yeah, he told me just like, may the force be with you, and yeah.
Great. What about placing some? Because I saw some of the series, and some of the scenes are really like also planned out in this magic hour moment, like really tight on the light levels. That is something that is also telling a story.
Yes.
And so that is something that you already discussed beforehand. Is that light?
No, it was like mostly improvised in the moment. In this case, as a different in the previous film that we saw, I had a bigger crew, like a proper gaffer and key grip, a whole camera crew, and what is normal. And we worked like in a very tight way. Everything was very fast. So once we found the shots, the camera angles, or the tracks, then I was like free to create whatever I felt correct. So it was kind of having a blank canvas and a whole like lab open with colors, with technology, and yeah, I had a great DIT, and I was like mixing lighting, camera, DIT. So I was like playing around like a kid.
And can you tell us about the difference between working in the Mexican? It's Brazilian actually, Nuestro Tiempo, no?
No, it's Mexican.
Mexican system, and then going to Hollywood and shooting there. What were the main differences for you?
Well, in the US, there's lots of rules because it's part of different unions, and sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. It's something that as a foreigner you need to adapt and flow. Otherwise, you will just broke. So I always try to take advantage of the good things and not to stay like in their bad rules that they have. And yeah, flow with different systems, I think.
Because this one you didn't operate yourself, because that is normally how you work.
Yeah, I prefer to operate always. In this case, I had sometimes 2 cameras, not always, 2 operators, and it was the first time for me, like walking with a radio with the operator, a little more to the left, more to the right. And at first it was like annoying for me. I thought that I was spending a lot of energy, like getting the right shot. I prefer like, okay, give me the camera. And later on, I started to understand the system, no? And sometimes it was better for me to stay with Nicolas at the monitor and think about the whole composition, the rhythm, no, what was going on inside the scene. And there was like very talented people that was doing what we were looking for. No? So in a way, it was smart, and it was like a whole machinery working together.
Would you do it again with the Mexican director in a new project? Like not operating, but being behind monitors, having these guys?
No, I think it doesn't work like that. No. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it will be like an interesting mix.
And does it give a more intuitive movie film when you operate yourself?
I prefer it. Yes, because you give your feelings and your exact motion, you know, your body language, and I think it's important to translate. It's part of it, no? When you have an operator, sometimes it gets a little mechanical. Well, maybe I need to find like a someone that I really that he understands what I really want, like very precisely. No? Mm-hmm.
And so you work with a different crew, of course, on a different in LA or in Mexico or in Brazil.
Yes.
But did you ever bring your gaffer or your focus puller to another project? Like you wanted to stay as a team together?
Now my base, I mean, I don't have a base. I can work with anyone. I'm always like very happy to get to know talented people all around. So I like that. No, I really enjoy meeting people and learn about different cultures and different ways to express something. No, and different techniques. But my latest works, I very close with a key grip and a DIT in case it's digital.
And why those two people? What do they bring to your project?
I don't know. I just trust them, and I think they understand the way I work the best. No? And they really help me to achieve what we're looking for. Mm-hmm.
Great. Any questions? No. All right. Oh, there's a question.
Yeah. I would like to get back to the previous shot, Nuestro Tiempo, because, you know, as you said, it's quite the beginning of the movie, and the characters are introduced. But what I found very interesting, and I love the movie, is that we don't see their faces. We don't know them yet, but we don't see their faces. So I would like to ask you about that decision. Who made that decision, and why did you decide to use a natural light? And there is other shot, which I love in Nuestro Tiempo. It's the landing plan, it's an extraordinary shot. And I would like to know, how did you make it?
Well, going back to that scene, I think the choice of shooting it at dusk, I think it was more about this special feeling about talking like at the end of the day, with that magic moment that only lasts around 20 minutes. That you are talking with someone, but at the same time you don't know if you're looking at him. You know, it's I think it's a special moment of the day, and it's a little dark. Yes, so they don't see their face each other. Maybe I think it's free to and open for different interpretations. And for the helicopter, yeah, it's a helicopter. Yeah, yeah. Overflying Mexico City, in the rainy season. This was like a very important decision for Carlos to shoot it during the summer, because you get to see a lot of clouds and it makes it like much more dramatic. And yeah, it was important to him to feel those mountains and the edges of the city.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? I see a hand there. Can you have a mic there, please?
I also had a question about the previous scene. First of all, what did you decide on the recce to make the last shot, like the pen going left and right? Did you decide that on the recce already? So that's the first question.
Yes, I think that shot, it was already established before. Yes, it was. I think actually even storyboarded.
Okay, sick. And then the second question is, you use only natural light, right?
On that film?
No, on that particular shot, because
Yes.
then you only use the light
and
of the
there's
car.
practical bulbs in the house.
Yeah, on the wall, right?
Yeah.
So did you have one of those on a dimmer, or did you ND one of the two to match the lighting ratios?
Probably on a dimmer, and also we turn on the tail lights of the truck.
So it was on the tail lights, the dimmer. And not on the practicals
dimmer on the practical.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And the headlights as well.
Let's talk about how dark is dark, because we just referred to that as a question as well. You work with a DIT, which is a digital imaging technician. How technical is that conversation with him? Is this person deciding that it is too dark, or?
Yes. On my latest works, I've been exploring this new tool, and I found it like a wonderful and open way of creativity. And this guy that I really trust, he's very smart and sensitive. And we work and do some kind of treatment on the image, on the levels of black, color, texture, and you can do so many things, no? In combining what you're getting from the lens, the sensor, and of course the lighting that you're using. So it's like another tool.
And are you is this person is directly working on the image, or is that a preset that you view and where you work on?
I mean, in Too Old to Die Young, it's a good example for that. It's on set with his computer, and he's just manipulating the image as the same moment.
How technical do you have to be to understand all the levels and where you want to go in the end? Because you have a plan, you see it on set. When do you start lighting, and when do you just turn a knob on a computer?
I just bounce back and forth in the 3-camera lighting DIT, and just start shaping the image until I like it.
And you still use a light meter?
Sometimes, yes.
And when?
No, well, I normally use it. Yes.
But how do you use it? Do you use it to decide a base stop, or you really scan the whole image for highlights and lowlights and where you want to be?
Yeah, I think I use like a base, and then I think how far I want to go to the highlights or the shadows. No?
Any technical?
Like very traditional.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's great. I think it's good to hear from you that you still use the light meter as a basic reference, although digital, of course, gives us all new possibilities. Anyone wants to ask something technical? Now we're doing LUTs and computers and... No? Great.
I'm not very technical. I prefer just to use intuition and whatever I feel that it's correct for the scene. I just use all that film tools, as bridges to express myself or whatever the scene needs.
Is it not so that you need to have all this basic technical knowledge, get sort of accustomed with it, and then you go to that step? Because you already are way up there. Of course, you are very technical because you know all this basic.
Yes, but I don't pay much attention to it. I just use it.
Right.
Yes. I mean, I don't go very deep on that. Yeah. And I translate more like... Maybe that's that. I mean, I have my own language, and I think it's on the moment when I start shaping the image. I don't go like very technical, or maybe I do. I don't know.
I think, that's so hard to say. Maybe
yes,
it's a bit of a combination.
And yes,
but when technical stuff becomes more like you can use it like that, that's maybe the step you need to take.
Yes.
Or
so I'm not thinking about the technical stuff.
Yeah. Because one more question about technical stuff, because I know we said we would skip that bit. But do you have your own monitors on set? Do you use the same monitor to view stuff on?
You mean if I have my own monitor calibrated?
Like the same monitor on every project? No,
different monitors. I don't care about machines and...
So you use the eye?
Yes.
And the light meter?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I wanted to know that. I think we still have some other projects and clips to see. Maybe a question? There's a question over there. And can you please stand up and then we can all see you? If the mic is getting to you. There it is.
I have a question about the editing. Like, do you watch cuts of films, or is it more like when it's rough cut is already done, then like you can watch it? Like how do you work while the director works on the editing of the film?
In some cases, I get involved with the editing. I really like that. When directors ask me for my input, because we kind of build the language together, and sometimes they ask me for what I think about this or that, and I think I like it. I like to be part of that. Normally, I have my point of view. Maybe sometimes it's not the right one. Of course, I don't have the final word, but I often bring some ideas, no? Because, like I said, we create the rhythm, the pace, and that's part of the whole thing, no? The whole universe that we're trying to create. And sometimes they edit on the day. That is not like very useful. Sometimes you can get like much more confused. I think it's better just to leave it and then you take it.
It's interesting because I was thinking about that in the Netherlands, where we don't have large budgets, at least where I'm working in. But I was thinking that that would be interesting to see the day after the edit of the scene, but that is not interesting. That's
Sometimes it's useful just to be sure that you have everything you need, you know, like to be safe. But I think you know it. You don't need to go to the monitor and watch the montage of the scene that you shot the day after, the day before. Sorry.
so more like just a quick check without even.
Yeah, and how does it cut this with this? But you can already know, you know.
Is that because you from script to imagery, you said you storyboarded some scenes of the Nuestro Tiempo.
Yes.
But how do you write a shot list?
No, not shot list. Just storyboards, and not for the whole thing. Just for a few scenes.
You draw them yourself? Like
No, Carlos did.
Right. And but on other film projects, let's say on the new film you did on
Wildlife, I did some storyboarding.
On
Wildlife.
yeah. Oh right. Okay. You
But
did- and-
just for a few scenes.
but then you sit together with another artist.
With Paul, with the director.
And he's drawing.
No, I did.
You did the drawing. Great. So you have to be good at drawing.
Well, some sketches, you know.
So this film is about the storyline is about this relationship with the boy Joe, who's I think the main character, his perspective we see, and the relationship who is falling apart, and how they maybe re-find each other in the end. Is that correct?
Yeah, kind of.
Love triangle with them with a family.
No, it's a family portrait. It's a period film about this family that just moved to a small town in Montana. And the father loses his job and gets in some kind of a crisis, and decided to go to fight these wildfires. And there's like a reconstruction of the family, and the whole film is through Joe, the kid, eyes. It's more about his perspective and how he lives all this.
Can we play back this scene without the sound? Because this movie has some, as we saw, some track outs and some camera movement. But a lot of the scenes are also very static, in which, we start handheld. But let's say the diner scene we saw, and some other scenes I saw in the film are that people are moving in the frame, but the frame isn't moving. Sometimes you don't correct on certain cues, like he's laying on the couch, he's getting up, but he's like almost cut like that. What choices were giving you that was the right frame to choose?
Again, I don't think that we use certain kind of rules for the language. I think it was always like open to find the right camera setups to each scene. But I mean, it's a small film, but it's very meticulous crafted, I think. Like in every single small decision, Paul and we care very much, because
let's say this scene. So he's seen with his mother in the foreground, but his shot is single shot. Is that how does that? Is that also something that's written in the script? Like that is how their relationship is.
No, I think those are the things that you don't do like in a rational way. You just put the camera and find it, and you feel.
What does it say for you then? And why did you choose this? To have Joe clean and. Yeah, or actually, Joe is with her in the foreground, and she's clean.
Yes.
He's looking at her, but we see him through her. like in an over shoulder?
No, I'm sorry. I don't know if there's like a something that I can explain about that. But it just felt right for us, no? And we were exploring about this. It's a good question because we did try different things, and that was like the combination that we most liked for that moment.
And that testing, is that something you do? That's something you do before you start shooting. Is that something you do in rehearsals? You already compose shots.
Yes. Well, that foreground thing, it was on the moment. Yeah.
Right. And is she really driving? Is this a lighting nightmare? Like driving cars, people inside cars?
Period cards, it's a nightmare.
Why?
Well, because they don't work well, and Carrie, I mean, she's a wonderful, amazing actress, but she preferred to have like a process trailer or that.
What kind of problems does that give you? And
also, there's certain rules, you know, safety rules, and you have to follow them, no? Yeah. And then we did this POV, Joe's POV, just like a straight light panning to show the station. It was through Joe's eyes. No? It was kind of like the money shot, to say it in one way. So you show the whole stage up just in one shot, and we composed the tents and the firefighters, everything. It was like very well composed and crafted, no? To sell it in one shot. I mean, to have the whole feeling of the place just through Joe's eyes, instead of having like many shots all around, you know? Yeah. I think it was just following the character, you know, what he was experiencing and feeling. Same as here. No? We have like a very intimate, tight close-up, experiencing the fire.
And it is you panning up into not fire, but that's
yes.
CGI later.
Yes.
And can you tell us about when you read the script? You knew it was going to be in the 60s. What did that do to your lighting choices?
Well, it's a period film, but we wanted to make it something contemporary, not like with a vintage look, but with some character. And I just used as much as available light as possible. No? I think that was important to create the feeling and the environment, the whole atmosphere. No, like very natural and simple.
Yeah, it has this really soft contrast. So I thought that this might need a lot of light to get that really soft contrast, and that it has contrast, but it's filled in with some bigger sources.
No, for me it was more about finding the right place, the right spot for the scene, and the right time of the day.
All right. And lens-wise, did you choose like Cooks or other older lenses? You said you don't want to give it that much of an old vibe, but
those are Panavision Primos. They were made out in the 90s, so perhaps now they are vintage. No, and they're like very clean and correct, but they have some character.
Can you also talk a little bit about focus and why you choose certain shots to have a really shallow depth of field, and sometimes you have more depth of field?
Yeah, this is more like you see normally, no, in daylight inside a diner. Nothing very stylized or fancy. It's very clean and, you know, simple. For us, simplicity was like our source, no? Like less is more. And once in a while, when the scene needed it, For example, that tight close-up, I did use a P Vintage 50 T1, which was like a very shallow depth of field. So you just keep on his eyes and his like deep in his expression, you know, like going inside of him, but only for those.
Yeah, and in the end, maybe when he's talking to his father, in the end, you also have this scene
As well.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I thought maybe you used even shift tilt because the focus was so small on the face.
No, it's a very nice lens. So we had it like there, and it was our special tool for that moment.
Do you have special tools on every project? Like you choose something that you might use, or you?
Yeah, sometimes I have like something like there in the corner waiting for.
I'm thinking now. Maybe there are some questions. Yes, a lot of questions. Maybe go for some questions. Where's the mic? Nearest? Oh, can you stand up, please?
Hi. I was wondering, when I look at your work or practice, I notice a certain intimacy, but also closeness, directness. I think it's always about being a human, moving around, connections. And also when you explain about your way of working, I was wondering, what is it for you that makes cinema not the right, that's not a good word, but the material to work with to translate all those ambiguity, I don't know how to say, is that a good English word? Ambiguïteit? Anyone knows? I don't know how to say it.
I can't translate that.
Oh. Like it has a lot of crossover, so it touches all the time, I think, a lot in all the movies that you work in. So my not so direct question is, like the vitality that I see and the way on being, what makes it for you that cinema is the material to work with and to translate those kind of big things? I don't know if it's a really direct question, but I was wondering.
No, thank you. I think you answer it for me. I found filmmaking and working on cinema something very close to human behavior and with nature, and I think it's a wonderful way to explore this. So yeah, I found it fascinating, you know, working through images and symbolism, researching this.
Can I ask a question that maybe the mic can travel? Because what are your inspirations to amplify on your style? So style used in the context of your feelings in cinema and how you use them, but who inspires you to?
Dutch painters. No, well, yes.
Dutch painters. Oh, right, sorry, I was like translating, but yeah.
No, I really like Dutch painting. But no, many things, mostly nature. I think that's like the base of my inspiration. And human relationships, and but I also love painting and music.
Okay, next question.
My question is, how do you cooperate with production designers in pre-production? Do you have meetings with them, or does all the communication go through your director about the colors of shirts, or which sites to shoot? Because you say I don't make specific shot lists, or I don't picture all the images. How do you say? How do you tell them? And
yes, well, it's not that I have only one way to work. There's always a different approach depending on the director. It's not up to me. Sometimes they like storyboarding. Sometimes they just go on set and improvise. Sometimes, you know, it's always different. It depends on the director. And of course, there's big and deep conversations with the art director and production designer to find the whole world, the whole color palette. I think it works as a triangle, no? Again, director, production designer, and cinematographer, all together, like working as a circle, no? Triangle, or I think it needs to flow with ideas, and not only from those three. I mean, I like when everybody is involved. And if someone brings up a good idea, and if it fits on the film, then it's very welcome. But yes, production designer always is an important key of the whole creative process.
Let's say in this example we just saw in the diner, she's wearing red. That could have been like too, let's say, too expressive. Mm-hmm. But is that then something you choose together with the director, or is that suddenly on set she's red?
Sometimes no. Sometimes it's important to find the right color contrast with the settings, wardrobe, everything. I think every single detail counts for what you're telling. No, as a cinematographer, I feel responsible for every little thing that it's happening in the frame.
Do you make a lookbook or a sort of aesthetic color book before you go?
No, I wish to, but I never do it.
It's a time question, or is a?
I don't know. Now I'm starting to understand that maybe it's not the way I work. But sometimes I look at those beautiful inspiration books, and they're like very nice and takes you into something, but I think it's not something that I naturally do. No?
And is there then also a chance that on set suddenly she comes in and she wears red, and you say, maybe
yes.
not this red?
Yes.
And then there can be discussions about that. So that's
yes.
to make it more alive, or to
yes.
how do you
I mean, it's better to have those conversations before and not on the moment.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes it happens. No, this green it's taking too much attention and it's too bright. Let's try something different. But yeah, it's better to have those decisions before you're on set.
I guess on these big productions you also have pre-production meetings and walkthrough meetings where you have all these people presenting their trials, like clothing, makeup. How much do you have to know about makeup?
In the US system, they love meetings. They do meetings for everything. So they have to be sure, because yes, no.
And does that mean it can't change that easily, or?
No, you can change it, but you have to go to the meeting and then once again another meeting to double check that we're in the same page. Yeah.
My question before was about the makeup. Do you shoot a lot of tests with actual clothing, actors, and makeup?
For some particular scenes, yes. I will say that I don't love makeup. I always prefer to make it natural. Sometimes, it's good to kill some sheen, or to, depending on the scene. No, if the character needs to feel sweaty, then yes. No, it's more on the character. But when you use makeup just to make it pretty, then I don't like it, because it feels fake.
Right. I saw some more questions.
Hello. Thanks for being here. I grew up some 10 kilometers from here in a neighborhood that had small houses and small gardens under these beautiful gray skies. And I can imagine you grew up in a completely different environment, and I wonder how your youth or your background influenced who you are as an artist right now.
Well, I grew up in Mexico City. It's a crazy city, full of colors and chaos. it's an interesting place to grow up, because I was telling Joris that it's somewhere where you can be standing in one corner and you can be experiencing like different layers of reality at the same time. And that's where I grew up. No? Like many things happening so fast and very contrasted. Mm-hmm. And Mexico City, it's mostly also very gray, but for the pollution. But the countryside in Mexico, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
You already have some. Well, you already have something about makeup and costumes, but that is something I really want to ask you. That is, how far you go to with the costume designer of in the production. How far you can go, changing structures of some patterns or colors.
As far as I can. I always like to be involved with that. No. Like I said, I feel like responsible, and for me, it's important to take big decisions for the image. No, that's like my ground.
How much prep time do you normally, or how much prep time would you like for a film, like maybe wildlife?
Yeah, I like prepping for sure. It takes you into a healthy air. Shooting, but I don't like to prep more than you need, because then you start just to go around once again to the same thing, and you start killing the ideas. I don't know how to express this. I think there's a certain level of prepping that it's like good, healthy, and then you just need to shoot it. Otherwise, it's boring.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, because that is connecting to it maybe, you just mentioned an important tool for cinematographers, the time of day. Can you talk a little bit maybe about how it is in different countries with different directors, with different films? How do you work with that, with planning, with limitations, time limitations, etc.?
Yeah. There's so many factors for this. I think the first one and most important is, like I was saying, the way the director approaches his creativity, not only on the script, but how he likes to work building the scene. For example, with this Brazilian director that I work with, Gabriel, he's very energized. He cannot stay like seated for very long. And once we start doing some table work, like trying to shot list, then he stands up and prepare like a smoothie or something, and he's like very fast on his ideas. And I think this is like an example of someone that works more on the ground. When we get into the location, then he started to feel like powerful and to find shots and why if we move the camera here to tell this, and that's how he works. That's his workflow, no? And I cannot like push him to sit down, Gabriel, let's do this, and no, it's not his way, no? And talking about this, it's related with budget, with time, of course, because sometimes this takes a little longer to get the shot. Like an average in his films, we shot like 2 scenes per day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Mostly they are like very long shots. And yeah, I mean, if you see the the quantity, it's like terrible. How can you just shoot two shots per day? No, it's not. No. In the American system, this will be like bad, very bad. No. So I think it's related on the director's creativity and his workflow process, and so on. No, it's different with each one.
Also in different countries. I mean, like in Mexico, it will be different than in the United States. So if you want to make an early sun coming up or something like that.
Yeah. Well, in Mexico, I haven't shot so many films there, but I know the system. If it's there, if it's one, it's very free, and it's each production has like a different way to approach. There's no much rules about like union or time, or it's a little more messy, no? And also, I mean, in the U.S. system, it is much more formal, and you get the shots, no? Yeah, it's pros and cons. You need to just take the best of each one.
Do you try to influence the shooting schedule in that respect? In terms
yes, very much.
Very much.
I get involved with the time of the days of what to shoot. Of course, I mean, this is like priority for me. No, I prefer to choose the right time of the day, rather to have like a big truck with heavy gear. For me, that's much more important. But sometimes I need a big truck to get the scene. So I try to, make a balance and do the right choices and fight choose your fights. Mm-hmm.
Does a recce mean for you that you stay on that location like all day to see all the light changes?
Sometimes, yeah, like the light studies, I like. Mm-hmm.
And do you take photos then, or do you remember, or you light meter, or?
I watched. I like to observe.
Great.
Yes, and yeah, sometimes in certain films you don't get to have available light like all day, because you have to set up a long scene, so you need to recreate that beautiful available light artificially. So that's when it gets a little more tricky, no? And combining, no? Maybe part of the scene it's available, part of the scene you bring a unit to fill. So yeah, I think I don't have like a formula or rules. I just.
Do you sometimes, let's say you plant that scene at a certain hour where the sun comes through and it's not sunny, it's cloudy. Can you change the not shooting that scene?
Sometimes I try, for sure. If it's like.
Did that happen in one of your projects?
Yes.
Can you give an example, maybe?
No, I don't remember like a good example for that. But yes, I always try to fight for the right lighting and the right feeling for the scene. No, but sometimes if it gets cloudy, then cloudy it is, and then you don't know, you never know, and you can get something beautiful as well. No.
So it's you would adapt to what you're given, or you would try to emulate sun.
No. Well, depends. I think it depends. But lately, I've been trying to just flow a little more with those kind of things, and not to get like so stubborn. Like it has to be like this, like this. Now I'm trying to be like much more open for those situations, and just like surprise myself for something new that I maybe didn't imagine it. No.
And what made that change in you? Because then before you were trying to more control it a little bit more.
Yes.
How did that change come? Is that more experience, or?
I don't know if experience. Maybe it's trying something different to evolve. No, a different way to face like a problem or a situation that maybe is not a problem anymore, and it's like something that gets into your side.
Great. And how do you learn? How do you progress? Do you watch your films again and again, or do you? What do you study? Do you read a lot, or?
Basically, music. I think that's like my more constant inspiration.
And how does that? What kind of music, and how does that inspire you? It's interesting in how you can grow to become better at what you do.
Well, I guess all arts are related and connected in a way. I found music very close to filmmaking. If you think about time, rhythm, silence, color, harmony, chaos, no? And all those kind of words that maybe you can take into cinema.
And did you ever try and operate a certain scene on music while not maybe only?
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah?
Yeah, many directors. Nicolas always like to play his playlist and put the actors into a mood and trance. Yes.
And can you give an example of a scene you shot with you getting specific music from a director, and what kind of music was that?
Yes.
Maybe in your latest film, because we didn't see a lot of Divino Amor yet. So did that happen in that film?
No, he didn't use music for the scenes. No, yes, we did use. No, sorry. But, yeah, we can play something from Divine Love.
Can we see which one do you want to see?
I don't remember which one was first.
Shall we just play the first one and we can maybe cut it and go to the second one if we like that one better?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's a long one, but
it's a long one, but it's beautiful. So wait, let me tell you one small thing about the film, so you guys have a bit of an idea. This film is now in theaters, so please go and see it. It's nice. It's maybe you can tell it, because every time I say something, you have to correct me.
Oh, really? Sorry.
Yes, but it's in the future. I will say it's in the future.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right to correct me. Can you tell a little bit about what the film is about?
It's near in the future in Brazil. It's complicated.
Okay, then I go and have a bite in it.
Yes.
It's about a couple who can't have children, and get really religious to try and get a child, and maybe that's all I can say about it, because otherwise I ruin the ending, because you guys still have to see.
Yeah, she's very spiritual, and she believes strongly in God and in His Word, and she's involved in these Divine Love sessions.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose to show us this scene?
Interesting choice. Yeah. Well, I will say that from our previous film, working together with Gabriel, he was researching or interested on the beauty of a human body, female and male. And of course, we wanted to do it with all respect. And well, that's for the sex scene. These four different sets are trying to construct this Divine Love universe. That in a way it's like a different planet, different universe, full of like watercolors, and we wanted to to like transport audience to a different place in a very simple way. I mean, the settings are just curtains or just a wall, no? So it's like a religious ritual. I prefer not to talk a lot about the film, but what it's important now, it's like a religious ritual, no, about fertility and love in between couples, and bring together marriages, no. And again, Gabriel is also interested about symphony and moving the camera as dancing with the choreography, as blending together everything in one. So in this case, we move the camera very slowly, constantly. It never stops. Well, at the end of the sex scene, I think it does. But it's more about invisibly getting into a rhythm and getting into hypnosis again. No? We were influenced by two artists, Dan Flavin and Olafur Eliasson, for the whole Divine Love setting. What else can I tell about this?
Yeah,
Any questions about this scene?
Yeah, maybe questions, because I can imagine there are many questions. No question.
I have a question, but not specific about the scene. But is that okay?
That's okay, yeah.
Okay, I was wondering, at what stage would you like to be involved in production? Some cinematographers would like to be involved during script phase, and otherwise, at the end, before shooting.
Sorry, say that again?
At what stage would you like to be involved in production when you're shooting a film?
Well, normally I don't get it very involved in the script writing. Sometimes I do, but it's rare.
Yeah.
No, normally I just get the script and that's where I start.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're working with many different directors from all over the globe, and I was wondering, if you work with a new director, where do you start about how to create the language of the movie? Like, how do you engage with them?
Well, I think I mentioned it. I like to get to know the person, no? Yeah, like how he lives, and then I can understand a little more his vision, no? Because it's not up to me to land and arrive into a new director and then, oh, this is how we're gonna do it, no? I prefer just to wait, observe, listen, and then when I feel that I understand a little more about what I have to do, then I talk. Mm-hmm.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is another question over here?
Before you meet a director, do you gonna see all his films before he did it, or do you go there with an open mind and just see what's happening?
That's important. I do watch this director work, so that's very important to know what I'm getting into it. And of course, the work speaks for itself. So yeah, I do like my homework before I get into the production. No, it's.
And do you think about the film, what you're gonna make with this new director, the way he did it before, or maybe he asked you because you do it a whole different way than he did with the other DOPs?
I like to think that every film has its own new spirit. So I prefer to face each film as like blank. Of course, there's if it's a director that it's been working like previously, like a long filmography, then I need to respect that and to understand and try to follow that energy of him. Yes, but always trying to do something different. Not because different, just to. I think you understand.
Thank you.
I see another question.
Yes, hi. I was wondering, you've worked with several directors in several countries, and language. I don't know if you speak Portuguese, but how is it to work on a film and you don't speak the language of the characters? Does that make any difference, or it doesn't make any difference at all?
Yes, I did 2 films in Brazil. The first one, I didn't understand nothing in Portuguese. It was like a barrier. Now I do speak Portuguese. I mean, Spanish and Portuguese are very close, but it was tough. Yes, and I learned that it was much more to again observe and to be there in a different way and just to translate what was going on. And also the director didn't speak Spanish, so it was interesting, you know. And now he speaks Spanish and I speak Portuguese, so. But for example, in Thailand, that was something that I hope, but I don't think I'm gonna learn Thai. It's completely different language structure, and yeah, I was just like floating on set, no? I mean, I knew the script and the lines and what was the scene about, but yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, I can imagine it's hard to react intuitively if you don't understand.
Yes, you need to be very present and awake to be there. Otherwise, you go to somewhere else.
Yeah.
But in that case, I was the only foreigner. It was like a Thai crew.
Wow. Good man. I have one more question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Regarding the scene we just saw, I mean, I know also from Neon Bull that it's a lot of scenes in one shot, which is very challenging and very interesting and very real, honest in a way, for me at least.
Very what? Sorry.
Honest.
Yeah.
Like waarachtig, honest. Yeah, I think.
Yes.
And doing a sex scene is always quite challenging, I think, and most people choose to do a lot of like sort of inserts to cover it, and this is very interesting the way you did it, and I was just wondering how that was, or how that
actually, that's why I think I choose it, because always shooting a sex scene, it's so complicated and tricky, and how you do it in a real and natural way without making it feel fake and bad, you know. It's very easy to make it bad. I mean, I still don't know if this is good, but at least we try to to create the whole moment, these 4 people together, and to build the energy with them. No, it was a big challenge. There were so many like little things that if it were not there, then the whole scene like falls down.
Do you shoot it many times, or?
Not so many.
Oh, okay.
No, for the actors, and yes, for the neon scene. If you saw Neon Bull, we just shot it twice.
Oh, wow.
2 times. This one, I think 4. And you got it or not?
Okay.
Can I ask something? Yeah, well, I'm going to add on your question, because I think what we're all talking about in long takes is that you find a new rhythm that also suits the whole film and suits the scene.
Yes.
And you said you notice directly when it doesn't work. How was it in this scene? Because I can imagine do it 3 more times and then you move to the other woman, or you know, is it talk like that, or how do you make length feel just long enough?
Can you...
Let's say movement and actions. Normally you would say, okay, you moved there, then you're angry, maybe you wait, and then you decide to go back to her and we pan with you. So that is directly a thing you can say, and you can influence length with that. But I think with a sex scene like this, it's just, when is it too long and when is it just right? How did you get there?
I think it was up to the actors. We set like the main base, the structure of the scene. So from here, from A to B.
Very like.
Yeah, this, and then open. And then we let them do, you know.
And this film, we have to finish it up. I see the time.
Okay.
This point of view is already, you say we used a lot of long takes and wide perspectives, but I think you chose a really clear perspective. Can you talk about that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, the choice of the angle was not like, okay, from here to here, no. It was like pretty well, I mean, we thought about it like deeply, how to start it, how to bring the scene into the couch and the bed, how much we want to see of the body, and you know, be careful about everything, and to make it like erotic and real, and you know, that was all into that. And I think it was being connected. I was trying to be connected with them. No, actually, I remember that Dita, the actress, she came to me and gave me a kiss before one shot.
Yeah. Great. I think we need to wrap it up. So I want to thank you for your openness and your sharing everything with us. And it was great talking to you.
No, thank you.
And thank you all for being here and asking so many interesting questions.